So if someone breaks in and live here now, so that line on its own, it covers for those people who stole the land.
Yeah.
So it can only be them who wrote that. Now, it turns up when they say the natural resources of this country must be distributed towards the people. Does it happen? Why are we comfortable with the first one that says this country belongs to all that who live in it? But the natural resources is not distributed. And why was the question of nationalization? Why was Mandela resistant towards nationalization? It leaves you with a lot of questions. Now let's move. Why is the Reserve Bank have private owners? So do you think when you will have a government of the people where the controls of the country is private, how do you think that will play out? So the person that controls the Reserve Bank, the money, how this country should run, I'm gonna say, no, he is the one that decides.
True.
You know, when Johan Rupert said to Ufigile Mbalula, go and tell Zuma that if he fires Pravin, I'll collapse the economy of this country. How? I mean, and we normalized it. Oh wow, the land loan they're spoken. Now, you have a political organization that call itself a liberation movement, but it's non-racial. Where else on earth have we ever heard of a political party that is non-racial? Can you go to Chinese Communist Party but non-racial? That on its own, it was to tell you as a black person that you are done. Accommodate all these people. They go back to the Freedom Charter to say this country is for everyone who lives in it. Then they are non-racial. Where's the balance? You're not going to find the balance. They take a few that they put in that power because they understand your problems. They give you what you need the most. Would you still sing and jump up and down for your people? No, you can't. They tell you straight, would say, don't worry about those people. Worry about yourself and your family. And we see that happening today. You understand? So, all these documents that were written, where you see the most applicable, it's when it benefits the outsider. And then you come and you look at your national anthem. When in the part you're seeing about Nkosi Sikelel Africa, then here comes the Afrikaans part that talks about the land. When I just want God to bless your country, and then the Afrikaans people, they're talking about land ownership. How long did it take for your political parties that pose as liberation movement to discuss the land? They're not gonna address the issue on the land because they've accepted the Jews to tell them that South Africa is for everyone who lives in it. How are we going to discuss that? They stole the land. They tell you that they have a right to stay because it belongs to everyone who lives in it. And they sell you this thing of you a rainbow nation. There's no such thing as rainbow nation in the world. Come on, please.
No, you're right.
What rainbow nation?
Absolutely right.
There's no such thing as rainbow nation. Then they come and talk about affirmative action, stealing information and methods that are done in the state. Affirmative action. How do you want to affirm while you're the majority? How do you? And now you talk about equality, equal distribution of wealth. How are you going to distribute that? Who controls the center? The organs of how the country should move? It's still the same outsider. So how do you think the outsider will want to be equal with you? It's giving massive John. Do you think it's giving to the Funba equal now? No. I stole it. Go find something else to do. If you want, steal it back. You understand?
Yeah.
Steal it back.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's questions that we're not asking. And each time black people supposed to fight back, they're deemed as rebellious, they're deemed as hooligans.
You can say that.
They're deemed as, hey, these people can't think. One guy made a very racial statement, said, no, Guti, you guys can't think, when Mabhida was banned. I can't remember the game. I think there was Chiefs involved somewhere there. He said, rugby, it's a stupid game played by creative people. Soccer, it's a dumb game. Soccer is a good game that is played by stupid people. You understand? So, and they're free to say that. They steal and they come back and look at you. They said, no, we have a right to be here. People don't understand that the reason why criminals have more rights than you as a victim is because the people who wrote the laws were those criminals. But we're looking at criminals as the ones that are in the streets. We're talking about the criminals that control Reserve Bank, write constitutions, control the markets, owning the infrastructure, the banking, the insurance companies. Those are the criminals. That's why they're protected. And even when they wrote the rules or the laws, when you get arrested, you still have a right. Hence they say you have a right to remain silent. They knew when the tables were turned, they're going to use them. Look at what they've done in the Bible. They took the Bible, they dismantled, they removed 19 books. Book of Enoch, where it says, let my people go. How come it's not in the Bible? Book of Judith, how come it's not in the Bible? They wanted to use religion to be tailored, should, like turn the other cheek. They're arming themselves, but they tell you when I must turn the other cheek. And it is right for the master to punish his slaves. Now, you find your own black people applying those to you. Every slave master collaborated with one or two people within the slaves.
True.
That demon still exists amongst us. House Negroes. You see that? You know? So there's a lot that we are what we eat. So whatever that we consume, it's not necessarily what we should be consuming, but because there's nothing else. There's nothing else. There's no options. But political parties, all of them are controlled in one place. Who funds them? I mean, look at the judiciary. The judiciary system of South Africa is no longer shy. It tells you exactly what. You know, and they keep telling you that no, it's independent. Or justice system, it's independent. Or justice is served. There's no justice. That kid, they deposited him account in Bambop. The other guy in I think it was Rhodes or Stellenbosch. They said he accidentally moved the money inappropriately. But so there's no such thing as justice system. Uzuma was found guilty before he even sit. But Cyril must be innocent till proven otherwise. So now even the step aside, it cannot be applied to Cyril. But Bo Ace, Boban, it's been applied. So it tells you the same person I addressed earlier who controls the reserves for this country is the same person. It's the same person. Let me tell you something. If we were to be engaging in a real war, we wouldn't have survived. Who control our food supplies? They would have poisoned us.
True.
But they wanted us to remain as consumers. We're not going to rebel against them. Because before we think of anything, we think of our stomach.
That's true.
And what we consume in our stomach, it's poison. It's not even real food. You find most of your politicians will take 5 million rand and give the contract to some Indian or some white guy or to some black guy who's corrupt, 5 billion worth of contract, and not to 5 million. And whatever project is being done, that's not going to benefit the people, but he already took the money. And nothing will happen. So, no matter how much money you have, where you keep that money?
That's a good question.
Where you keep that money?
Yeah,
the same guy who controls everything. You get paid, you take that money, you said keep it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are we going to create a system whereby we can keep the money ourselves? When these laws were created to say you cannot possess 25,000 rand in your home, they knew that your empowerment has started.
Yeah.
Targeting taxis, targeting spaza shops, targeting. Let's not look at the criminal elements of it. Let's look at the other side.
Yeah.
Umkulu, they used to keep money car. But now you're not allowed to keep that much money. Bona, they can have SBV trucks deliver. Look at what was happening in Busas, Bukavu Watson. Go to all these ANC congresses and check how much currency is being Emafoya. Where is that money coming from? Millions and millions of money in Louis Vuitton bags. But when you have 25,000 rand, the master will take out the money and bet for his horse that he wants it to be the willing horse on how he should continue controlling the country where he's operating from. I always tell people that South Africa will never have a civil war. Ever. Why? The banking sector owns the properties. So once you have a civil war, what is the first victim? The infrastructure. Who owns the infrastructure? The bankers. So if a country like Syria, where the Rothschild central bank has no control, destroy it. So when you take over, we come in as the central bank, we'll give you all the money to rebuild. Then we own the infrastructure. That's how it works.
They always do that everywhere.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So that's why in South Africa, during the looting, they wanted to move things, reset certain things, change. So when it happens like that, everyone was looking one way. So I always say, when the TV, in the news, when they're reporting something, question what they're not telling you. Each time they report on something, what is it that they're not reporting? Why, at what extent for them to make a decision in covering that story? Why did they have to show you the state capture for 3 years? Every day. What message were they telling? You're telling me that there were no other events in this country. There were a lot of events that were happening in this country, but they had to make